So I just want to say welcome. My name is Terry Tyndall. I'm the academic advisor for the School of Energy, and just thank you for joining in. Again, you may choose to mute yourself or type your name in as guest to remain anonymous as we are recording, and you may use the chat function for any questions. This is being recorded and we will share this later on. So from there, I'm going to let the Dean of Energy speak. Brad?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay and that you're all doing well during this difficult time. Appreciate you all joining us to chat a little bit about what this fall is going to look like for the different groups that have joined us today. So with us, we have some second class students, third class, fourth class, and some evening students as well in the power engineering program. So I'd like to welcome all of you to the webinar this afternoon. Purpose of today's meeting is really to put your minds at ease in terms of what to look forward to. Now, some of you, most of you are probably returning students and have experienced some of the online delivery that and condensed labs that were presented to you at the end of this last term. And so I think you probably have a good idea as to what this fall will look like. We'll talk a little bit more in detail, of course. There are some students, prospective students online that haven't joined us yet, and we're hoping to put your minds at ease as well in terms of what to look forward to. And we have had a little bit of experience with delivering some of our online content and rejigging the schedule in order to accommodate the needs of all of our students in the school. Know that we needed to make some tough decisions for those that are returning. We needed to make a few tough decisions last semester in order to complete a group of students. Our first year students were allowed to complete their labs, and the labs unfortunately needed to shut down before we could complete our second year students. So there are some students that are returning and completing their program. We appreciate your patience and know that we've tried to make decisions in the best interest of students health-wise and also job prospect-wise. So again, we're looking at hopefully easing your minds for this upcoming fall, and which isn't that far away for some of you. Classes and labs will start up in about a month's time for some, not all, and then we'll stagger you into your programs at key times in order to keep the numbers at a manageable level on campus. So just an overview of what we're going to do today. Of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about two things. What safety looks like this fall at Lakeland College, and the quality. Those are probably two questions that you have on your minds as you're thinking about joining us or as you're returning. What about safety and what about quality? After I'm finished with my remarks, we'll have the Chair of Energy, Rob Collins, address the group and talk a little bit more about what to expect from a faculty's perspective. We'll have our advisor, Terry Tyndall, speak a bit about what you can expect in terms of timetable and the different practicums and those various needs. We have a few people online to talk a bit about supports that are available to you. Keep in mind that these supports have always been available, and I think the supports have increased for this fall for sure. And at the end, we'll take some time, hopefully at least 10 minutes, we'll have to wrap up any questions. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the meeting so that we're not in a mad rush at the end. If there are some common questions that pop up in the chat, then we'll probably address some of those common questions at the end. Hopefully we can address most of your questions throughout the webinar today. So my 2 points today: safety. What will the college look like? And this is a program where you are required to be on campus for labs, and most of the theory will be delivered online. But this is one of the few programs where there is a requirement to be available and present on campus in order to complete your STEAM time. So the campus will look a little bit different for those that are returning. Specifically, you'll notice lots of changes with signage. There will be signage posted on doors, walls, floors, encouraging people to keep distance. Some doors will be exits, some doors will be entrances, and those will be clearly marked. There will be one-way traffic in some hallways and two-way traffic in wider hallways. So please try your best to kind of follow those markers. Spacing, of course, will be something you'll notice in the labs. And if you are on campus in a classroom for a specific activity, you will be spaced out in your classroom in an appropriate level. Masks will be required in the labs. That's not negotiable. It's a requirement for us to continue operating through the pandemic. So please be prepared. Those that are returning and did have experience, we implemented that right at the end when the college was shutting down. So that may not be totally foreign to all of you, but for some of you, it may be a new thing. It is required, and we expect you to wear those masks fully, not below your nose. I've seen a few cases like that out in the public. Please wear your mask when you're asked to. You'll see mask wearing in the hallways as well. In the classroom with proper spacing, masks are not required, but you will have a mask on you in order to keep yourself and others safe. So that's, there's a lot of other things that have to do with safety and power engineering, but this is kind of the biggest change for this next semester. So we are very concerned about safety for sure. On the quality side, I can tell you that we have a fantastic and qualified and energetic group of faculty that are preparing, certainly for the regular lab delivery, and working around masks may be a bit of a challenge, but the faculty are working on that. I've encouraged faculty to bring you in from time to time to classrooms. It won't be every day, and may not be every week, but you may have opportunities to come into the class for specific activities and lectures. So there's lots of preparation. Most of those theory classes will be delivered through an online format. Those that are returning, you probably saw some really good performances, and maybe some that struggled a little bit. And we've been working closely with the faculty and staff to prepare for. We didn't really have time to prepare in March. We've had a bit of time over the last couple of months to do some prep work. So I know that as a dean, I don't expect the delivery to be perfect, but there has been a bit more time for prep work. And so I do hope and I think that you'll probably experience an improvement on that end as well. There's a couple in there that are superstars, and they just take naturally to an online delivery format. And so you've got lots to look forward to in terms of quality of staff instruction. Of course, our strength is in face-to-face delivery. We recognize that, but at this time we're not able to do that fully. And so we will deliver what we absolutely have to, which are STEAM labs face-to-face. We'll deliver some lectures and activities face-to-face, but most of your theory will be online. So those are my two messages for today, really. I've got a little bit of advice as you approach this upcoming semester. If you don't remember the advice, that's fine. If you remember safety and quality, those are top of mind for me and for the department. My advice is, if you're not feeling well, stay home. Please participate in your classes fully, whether you're online, whether you're in labs, participate fully. It's something we encourage, pandemic or no pandemic. Please participate. The more you put into your classes, the more you'll take out. Look for ways to connect with your staff and faculty and support people. It's more difficult during a pandemic to connect, but there are opportunities to do that. And finally, look for supports. There will be supports mentioned today at the end of the call. And if you do need support, please tap into those supports. You've got supports within the department, from the chair, from the advisor, from the faculty. Our admin assistant is excellent, Colleen. We have supports outside of the department in the commons, and some of those supports will be listed today. We're here to support you, whether you're on campus or off campus, and please take full advantage of the time that you have. And we'll do our best to prepare for you. There's lots of preparations going on, and think about some of these things as you prepare for the fall as well. So that's my message. I hope you have a wonderful summer. I might comment a few more times before the end of the call today. But do have a fantastic summer. Enjoy your Canada Day. It will look different. It's the theme this year. It will all look different. But stay safe and have a great Canada Day tomorrow. Thanks, everyone, and I'll turn it over to Rob.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, great. Well, I just wanted to welcome everybody coming to our magnificent school here at Lakeland College. I want to just welcome all the potential students that are coming in for our first year and some of our returning students from last year. I can't wait to see some of you guys in the hallways, that's for sure. I just want to echo some of the sentiments that Brad said. You know, safety and quality is what we're trying to achieve, and we're trying to set your minds at ease as what to expect in the upcoming fall here. And the other thing I want to reiterate is student success, and that's something our department really strives around, is trying to see you, the students, succeed in Lakeland College, in particular power engineering. So you got an exceptional staff there right now. Not a lot of them are taking a lot of summer break. They're working hard behind the scenes here, trying to prepare and have a little bit of a different delivery format that we're not particularly used to, but we're morphing into spectacular online instructors. So how's that going to look for you guys? Well, the course delivery, let's talk about that for a moment. As Brad mentioned, we're going to be doing some face-to-face labs. And with that, there'll be about a 10-to-1 ratio for your first years that are coming in here. For second years, you'll have a little bit smaller group, probably more to an 8-to-1 ratio in that. Okay, so face-to-face, as Brad said, we're going to have to wear masks in the lab. So I encourage you to purchase some of those outside of class and get those reusable ones that you can have. And these face-to-face ones, face-to-face time, especially your first years, this is a great time to get to know your fellow students in the class, as that's extremely important to know your fellow students, as well as it's a great time to see some of your instructors and develop that relationship there. So that will be a labs, and for your first years, you guys are going to have to complete 100 hours, and in the second year, of course, we got to do 200 hours. As for our theory, we're going to be doing a video or a virtual classroom style, or maybe a blended approach to both of those. So some instructors have really taken into using a program called Camtasia, where they record their lessons and use that as a, here you go, kind of watch your lesson, and then during that time slot have questions or answer period, or maybe hone in on a certain subject that takes part in that particular lesson. Or some instructors are choosing to have the virtual class, where you'll be attending the virtual class, and just like you would be sitting in a regular classroom, you'd be tuning into it from home. As Brad mentioned, sometimes we're going to be bringing you back into the college, and how that may look is we have specific room sizes for accommodating students with that 2-meter distance. And how that may look is, well, you may be here in the morning for half the group, and the other half of the group may come in the afternoon for a particular subject. So that's all going to be laid out for you when you meet with your instructors, and they'll have that more honed in as to what dates those would be. Okay, so like I said, you're going to do labs, and theory will be online. As I was saying before, labs, we're going to have to maintain that social distance. That mask will be required. Again, we're following all of the Alberta Health Services and what we can do. So this is an extremely important, and we should be very privileged that we're able to use these labs and facilitate this and try and get your STEAM time, as not a lot of students from around the province are able to even get to the school. So use this, and it's a privilege for us to use our labs and use that time to get some relationships with your fellow students and that instructor part as well. So again, our goal for you is to look at getting that ABSA paper. So for those that are coming into the program, ABSA is our governing body, and that's where you'll have to take a provincial examination. As currently, they're still slated for them to come in the times that are allotted. The exam may look a little different in the fact that they're only allowing 20 people per exam with that distancing, but ABSA and AHS, Alberta Health Services, are working that all out. We'll have more about that as time approaches to those exams. One thing I want to talk about is a lot of times you get a lot of questions is, what is our day going to look like for you, the student? So as I was saying before, you're going to be having to come to some classes. Those classes, as ABSA does monitor our attendance, as it's part of your reduction in STEAM time, you have to have an attendance policy. So even if it's recorded, instructors can visually see if you've watched the video or if you have attended classes. So those things are still important, even if you are, doing this from home. So a typical day for those that are new to us, a day program, our day starts at 8 o'clock in the morning for theory classes and goes all the way till 3 o'clock with a 1 hour lunch in between. For lab days, your labs are going to be starting at 2 time slots. Those will be at 7 in the morning and again at noon. And again, if you're not feeling well, you cannot attend these things, but we will figure out how to accommodate some of those that have missed labs. Our second years, for people that are laddering in, okay, you guys are still like last year. The only difference is your labs for the first semester will be once a week for you, as well as you'll have 1 day off there to help study with that kind of stuff, as your counterparts may be in lab. First year labs, you will be also, first year group, you guys will also be here on campus 1 day a week, as well as your off day for labs, that if you're not in lab, you could be doing a communications course. Our second class people that are coming back for our second class, again, this is new format this year, will be a blended model, meaning you'll be taking most of your coursework online and at home, whereas you'll be able to come in 1 day a week for online class or in-person face-to-face with an instructor. If we have more than the space allotted for in these instances, we'll divide you in half so that you can have another time slot later on. So what else can we have? Another question we always get, and I think I might preempt Terry here a little bit, we're getting a lot of questions, should you move here? I think it's very important that you should come here. As I stated before, you're going to be in lab once for sure 1 day a week, if not 2 days a week. You're going to learn, you're going to have relationships with your students that are in your lab group. Those are probably going to be your best friends by the end of the first semester. Those are the people that you're going to see day in and day out in both virtual and in class. And it's always good to have a partner or somebody else that you can ask questions to. And I can see people starting to form study groups and that kind of thing. So I think it's imperative that you move out this way. That's all I kind of have right now. I'm going to turn it over to Terry. And again, if you do have any questions, please use the chat function. We'll be typing in here throughout the day, and you can please don't hesitate to give me a call or a chat, and I'll have my email in the chat function here afterwards. Terry?
Thanks, Rob. So yeah, essentially the common questions every student has been asking is, what is the day going to look like? And Rob went over that. I'll just go over it step by step again. So if you were in year 1 for HOOT, or HOPE, that would mean you'd have virtual classes and then in-person small class size labs. So yes, you should attend, you should potentially move here. I know that there has been some conversation about students from out of town, but because we do have that in-person format, I do encourage you to move here. If you were a second year HOPE student, same format. We also have the oil labs that can happen once a week as well. So you may be having an oil lab 1 week as well as a power engineering lab. So again, there will be time in class, there will be time with instructors, and I think that's the common question that everybody is really searching for today. So yes, you will get that one-on-one instruction with your classmates and with your instructor. The second class power engineering that Rob already touched on, we were already moving to a online and blended format, and it will be once a week in class, the rest all virtual. So Rob already touched on that attendance requirement, but if you do have questions, each instructor will be delivering their instruction their own way. They have that ability, but we have an online desire to learn format where we deliver our theory. So you will be using D2L with your courses. Again, for the year, September to December, you're learning, if you were in first year, you'd be learning the theory and then the labs, but we do have that practicum portion. So you should maybe note right now that we will have the 6-week STEAM time practicum that happens December to January. And that is all based on our host support. As we all know, things have changed dramatically, but you would be required to comply with your host's guidelines, and we will help set that up.
Just about to
Pardon?
for this year, basically.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. I'm not sure if there was a question there or not. And then for if you are a second year HOPE student, you will be looking at having your third class practicum, your third class STEAM time delivered May 2021. It would be the May to August or 3-month, 480 hour STEAM time. So again, we will work with you. It is still a requirement of the program, and all based on host support and us working with you to facilitate those relationships. Some of the common questions we've been going over, you should have the safety ticket requirements already sent out to you with your admissions letter, but if you do have questions, feel free to email myself or Colleen. I believe we're on your acceptance letter, but we can pop our email into the chat. The H2S and confined space entry level 1, you're going to need to get before you come on campus, but the WMIS, we get this question a lot. It is a Lakeland specific course. We'll just wait until you get here, and then we'll deliver that information to you once you arrive. Your book list was already sent out, but again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. If you did not receive it, please let me know in the chat here and we can send that out. And one of the things Rob maybe didn't go over, yes, you need a mask. It does not need to be N95, so a reusable mask is sufficient. So again, one of the things we know really helps our students is being involved in those study groups. So as you get to know these students in your first labs when you're coming on campus, I really encourage you to develop those relationships and get to know your instructors, get to know your students, because that's what we want. We want successful students, and successful students can really grow out of these study groups. You will have lockers. That was another common question because you will have them for your PPE that you require for your labs. The exam information, Rob's already gone over, it will be determined with ABSA, and we will deliver that information to you. One thing I should note for anybody laddering in or anybody coming into first year with that communications course, there is a possibility for transfer credit. If you have been enrolled in another college and have transfer credit, please let's get that started sooner than later. So send me an email and we can discuss transfer credit options for you. And we also have Jessica, our enrollment specialist, on here as well. as Jill Applegate, our international contact. So if you both have anything you'd like to add, I'd encourage you, maybe Jessica, go first. Thanks. You need to unmute.
Hey everyone, my name is Jessica and I am the enrollment specialist for energy, business, and health and wellness. And I'll go ahead and put my contact info in the chat. If anyone has any questions about applying or about any of the programs, I would love to help you in any way that I can.
My turn. Hey everyone, I'm Jill Applegate. I'm the International Student Support Coordinator. So may have spoken to a few of you who are online from somewhere other than Canada. So if anyone has any questions, in the meantime, I'll pop my email in the chat bar and you can feel free to email me. I know that Amanda sent out your study permit check-in on June 12th. So we know that those are taking a little bit of extra time and that's okay. So just be touching base with Amanda or I, and Amanda's on the call as well. Yeah, so that's about it. Hope to see you all soon.
And sorry, I should have introduced Tammy Smith and Karen Harris from the Commons as well, if you'd like to speak. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tammy Smith. I'm the Accessibility Advisor for Lakeland College. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the services that are available through the Commons. And then I'm going to hand it over to Karen, who's our Learner Success Strategist, and she can talk more specifically about the services that she provides. So the Commons is a department that exists solely to support students to be successful. We have a number of different staff within our department available to support students. I'm going to talk about Ben first. He's our librarian. And we do have, and Rob could tell you better exactly what we have in the library, but I do know we have some books specific to the energy school that are available for 2-hour loan out. So maybe Rob can pop in later and tell you about those resources, or they probably tell you about them in class. Ben is available for any research support, citations, those kind of things. Probably would be a good resource for you in your communications class. We have wellness and counseling services available. So Sarah Popple is our wellness advisor, and she is available to all students virtually or in person come fall. The services that she can provide have a wide range. She can support you with things from budgeting if you've never lived away from home before and have to figure out how to manage your money to make your money stretch until the end of the month, all the way to supporting students with some emotional support and strategies if you're homesick, for example. We have a registered psychologist on campus. Her name is Chantel Walker. She is available for one-on-one counseling services, and she also does some mental health workshops throughout the year for students. Chantel is available. We're hoping she's available for face-to-face counseling in the fall. We're not exactly sure what the stipulations are going to be around that based on what Alberta Health Services is recommending. But since spring, she did move to a confidential and secure virtual meeting room, and many students, probably more students than typical, accessed her services from the comfort of their own home. And then my role as accessibility advisor is I support any students who have diverse learning needs. So that can be anything from having a learning disability to having a mental health diagnosis to a physical disability to a chronic medical condition and some temporary medical conditions. So if you fall on the ice and crack your head and get a concussion, that is going to impact your learning. And if something like that happens to you, or if you break your arm and it's your writing arm, make sure you remember to reach out to me, because I can help you and put some supports in place to make sure that you can get your work in on time, maybe get you some extra time for exams, that kind of thing, if it's needed. I think I have mentioned everyone, and I'm going to hand you off to Karen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karen Harris. I'm the Learner Success Strategist here at the college, and that means I look after all the college. So I've got time that I have to be in Vermilion, and I've got time to be in Lloyd and Fire School and so on. But the easiest way to remember what I do is I'm a learning coach. And so I predominantly deal with how do you get the stuff that Rob and his instructors and everybody is telling you what to do, how do you get it into your head? And that's what I specialize in. Most people don't understand the concept of learning. They think learning is just like what you were in high school. And I'm saying this as a high school teacher. That was my previous occupation. So in high school, we tell, as the teachers, we tell you what to do, where to do it, when to do it, and how many times to do it. And as a math teacher, that's the kind of stuff that I would work with. So 80% of your learning landed on me. I was the one that showed you how to do it. I was the one that told you when to do it. I was the one that gave you enough assignments to make sure you knew how to do it, and then decided when to give you the test and so on. When you come to post-secondary, and it doesn't matter if you're coming to Lakeland or U of S, U of A, wherever you're coming, that switches. And 80% of that learning goes on to you. They're going to tell you what to do, but you have to decide when you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, and how many times you need to do it to get it in your head. And what most people overlook is that learning is instinctual. You've learned and learned and learned. We always kind of think that learning is in high school. And it doesn't matter how old the student is. And I've worked with students up to 65 years old. As soon as you talk about learning, they go poof, right back to high school. And I'm here to say this, and again, I'm saying this as a high school math teacher. What you did in high school and how things went for you in high school, yeah, they don't have a whole lot of bearing in this, because there's so much change. Never mind all the stuff that's going on right now has really caused a lot of change. And that change is a transition. And you're transitioning into a new part of your life. You're transitioning into a new way of learning. And it's all new, new, new. Well, as soon as it becomes new, 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 it's help, help, help. How am I going to get myself around this? And that's where I come in. Because like I said, learning is instinctual. If it wasn't instinctual, you wouldn't know how to walk. You wouldn't know how to talk. You learned your language from being in the environment. And someone else in a different environment's got a different language. We know that it's instinctual. But if you don't understand how you work specifically to you, and I am here to say that everybody learns just a little bit differently, then it just makes it easier once you understand who you are. Do you learn more with your eyes, or do you learn more with your ears, or do you learn more with your body, or do you go into your head? How do you work? What's your personality type? How does that influence how you are in your life? There's all kinds of things that integrate on how a person learns. And that's why I think I've got the best job on the planet, because I get to work with this stuff to the individual. So my best work is when you and I sit down and you tell me some stuff about you, and then I can reflect it back. It's not that I'm any smarter than you. That's not it. What it is I'm outside your picture frame. And so I can see, and with my experience, I can see more how you work than you can. Just because I'm outside your picture frame, you're inside it, it's too close. You can't see it. And so once you understand how you work, for example, sitting down and looking at a book may be the worst thing that you can do. Yet everyone thinks that's studying. That if you just sit down and look at the book, that's studying. That's not studying. That's looking at a book. Now, if you're a visual person, that may kind of work with you. But I can guarantee for most of you, that's not the highly recommended way of doing it. Now, I am encapsulating a whole bunch of material into an itty bitty little spot. But the point is, use me. I'm free to you. And that means we can just sit down, we have a chat, and I can help you get going. And because it's this transition, sometimes students will come in, they spend about an hour and a half with me, and we get them going, and I keep checking in on them and so on. And sometimes they'll just come in and say, yep, that's all I needed. That was that one little piece that I was missing. I'm good. And they are good, and away they go. And sometimes they'll come back after 2 or 3 weeks and saying, you know what, this and this and this worked, but this isn't working anymore. And we sit down and we go through it again and tweak a few things and change a few things. And like I said, I'm a coach. And just like a lot of you guys I know are probably playing sports, the coach isn't out on the ice. The coach isn't out on the court. The coach is on the sidelines. And when the players come in and they need a little bit of readjustment, that's when they talk to the coach. And that's what I do with all the students in the college. And it doesn't cost you anything. And you just come in and we have a little talk about how to get that stuff that's on that page into your head so that when you hit ABSA, you can hit it with a 70% or higher. So that's kind of what I do. I know I can rant about this forever, but I'm going to hit the chat button right now and you'll see my, hopefully, my name come up with my phone number. And that phone number puts you on my cell. And this is how students get a hold of me all the time. They text me and they say, hey, I'm so-and-so from such and such a class. Just stop and when can we get together? And so I'll text back and we can get together. If you're not on campus, we'll do it just like we are right now. If we are on campus, we'll find a place and we'll just sit down and just have a chat. So welcome to all of you. We're excited for you to come back. I can tell you one thing, the college is a very boring place when there's no students in it. So we're really looking forward to you guys being back here, to be able to meet with you, to be able to talk with you. And I wish you well during the summer, but reach out to me. Just text me with any kind of question because I don't know all the answers, but I do know where to find those answers. And so whether I ship you off to Rob or to Terry or to Tammy or whoever you need, that's why I gave you my number. Just use it as you see fit. Okay, so welcome and we'll see you in a bit.
Hi, Karen. I just wanted to let everybody know that I already put Karen's information in the chat bar. So if you just scroll up a little bit, you can find her email and her phone number. And when I did my little spiel, I forgot to mention peer tutoring. So as students of Lakeland College, you're all eligible to receive 16 hours of free peer tutoring each semester. And so that works out to 8 hours of tutoring in each of up to 2 classes each semester. In the spring, when the college shut down for face-to-face classes, the peer tutoring program also shut down quite quickly because we just had a whole lot of other things that we were mandated to provide, and peer tutoring isn't a service that we're mandated to provide, so we had to focus on the things that we really needed to, but it will be open and ready to roll when everyone starts up again. So, and I really want to encourage everyone to remember peer tutoring and to access peer tutoring because it can be really, really helpful. We also, so if there's any new students on the webinar today, we also hire peer tutors. So we pay people to tutor other students. You do need your instructor's approval in order to be able to tutor, and then we pay you, it works out to about $15 an hour that we pay you to tutor one student at a time, or $16.40 per hour to tutor one or more students at the same time. We do have some virtual meeting rooms that are going to be set up and available for tutors to meet with students virtually so that we can minimize that contact. But we're also going to be flexible about how those services are delivered. So all of that is coordinated through me as well. My contact information is in the chat bar. And that's all I have to say for today. So good luck, and I'm glad you're here.
And see, this is where Tammy and I work together a lot because we tag team off of each other. She forgot the peer tutoring, and when she's talking, then I remembered I forgot to talk about college prep. So the other thing I have needed to tell you is that both Tammy and I are located right around the library. So if you find the library, which is on the 2nd floor, Tammy's sort of through the library and at the back, and I'm just 3 doors down from it. So get to the library and you'll find us. The other thing I wanted to mention, there is a course that we have now. I'm mentioning this with a bit of hesitation The program you may have heard about is called College Prep, and it's a course. It's a full self-paced course. I think there's 12 or 15 chapters in it, and talks about how to get involved with the college. Now, the reason I'm hesitating is because we've got a bit of a hiccup with it, and the bit of the hiccup is it used to be that it would come online in the first part of August, and then anybody, anywhere, and I mean anywhere in the world, could log on to it and go through the course. And there's heads up, there's a lot of reading to it, but it does have the feature where it will read to you if you so wished. And there's a bunch of videos and stuff in it. So what's happened with that is that we're trying to get it so it's all year round, accessible to anybody all year round. And in order to do that, there's a fee for that. And right now the college is trying to figure out which department's going to pay for that fee in order for us to have it all year round. So if you're not registered right now as a Lakeland College student and you do not have a Lakeland College student email, then it's not accessible right now. Keep watching. Maybe it'll come up on the 9th of August. Or sooner if we can get somebody to pay for it. The other part of that is if you are a student right here, right now, and have a Lakeland College email, then if you go under, Tammy, what is it? It's directory, I think. Scroll down and it's called College Prep. And if you just log into it, it asks you for confirmation and it's free and it just zips you right in and then you've got the course. So if you are a college student, you can get it on D2L right now. And that's that desire to learn that Terry was talking about. If you're not a college student, then just hang tough. We're trying very hard to get this organized for you. Okay, Tammy, did we get everything?
Yeah, we did. You can find the college prep course and the learner success course in D2L in the Discover tab. So up along the top bar, there's a Discover. If you choose Discover, a whole massive selection of courses comes up for you, and you can self-enroll in all of those courses, but that's where you can find college prep and the learner success modules if you are a Lakeland student already and have access to D2L.
Thank you guys. I'll send that out in the recap email as well. I think there's a easy to find link that we can send out to our students. So there was a couple Q&As in the chat, and I'll just reiterate, yes, classes are virtual for your lecture and theory, and yes, we do have in-person labs. So we have the best of both worlds where we're still able to deliver everything to you, but you will have in-person labs, and I think that's a real bonus for our program. So try to focus on that and use those moments when we do have those 5-hour labs that you're one-on-one with those students, your new friends, and you're one-on-one with your instructors. So I think that was the main question we heard in there. But if anyone did have any other questions, just pop them in there. Brad, did you want to say anything else?
I don't think so. I think I'll do a kind of a closing remarks at the end. We have a few more minutes. And I think you summarized the kind of the most common question, which was the online versus face-to-face quite well. So we have a few minutes. Please feel free to ask us questions. If there are none, we'll wrap up the call for today. Please know that there are other calls coming up. There's a webinar for residents. There will be orientation online. So there are other opportunities once the college prep course is ready, especially for you students, prospective students. Once that information goes out, the link, please take advantage and try to connect with us over the summer. It's not necessary to wait until the fall to connect with us. So lots of good questions today. I'm not seeing anything more, so maybe I'll just wrap up with a few remarks. You've got lots of contact information on the chat feed. You can email individuals directly if you have questions pertaining to their areas. And so there has been a lot of nervousness and probably especially in the School of Energy where we've been hit twice with pandemic and some uncertainty surrounding the energy industry. And I hope that we've put your mind at ease, at least on the health and safety, the quality of instruction, and what this next semester will really look like for you. As far as the industry is concerned, my comment there is that as a power engineer, we have tremendous relationships with oil companies, with agriculture processing companies, paper and pulp. There's lots of companies that we're connected with, and although some of our practicums were discontinued or at least deferred at the end of this last semester, we are working very closely with our industry partners to be able to continue to offer those practicums. And so just know that we're pulling out all the stops behind the scenes so that there are work experience potential, practicum potentials, and potential for work afterwards. And the most, probably the best advice I could give you in this regard is the more flexible that you are, whether that's industry or location, the more likely you are to find work. You could end up on a cruise ship somewhere. You know, any facility that has a boiler system for heat and energy, those are opportunities for you to work. And so please keep those in mind. Oil is still an opportunity. We're working with our partner companies to figure out how to continue on with our practicums in the safest manner possible. So know that we are pulling out all the stops on your behalf. Things will be different this year, but we still have these things as a requirement and an expectation that although it may not look the same, there will be opportunities for each and every student. As long as you're flexible and adaptable, I think there will be opportunities for you to move into this attractive field. I think those are my closing remarks. It looks like there's a few that were going on in the chat feature as well. So I'd like to thank everyone, and as you can probably tell, we have a group of talented people supporting and prepping and anticipating your arrival for this fall. I appreciate everybody that's participated in the meeting today for contributing. And again, my hope is that your minds are a bit more at ease in terms of your return to the college, or you're coming to the college this fall. All right, I can see there's a few other answers going on. Rob, do you have any comments? We'll kind of let some of these answers filter through a bit.
Sure. No, I can, me, I'm always good to talk. Yeah, so we'll just let if you've got any questions, please post them on the meeting chat here, and we'll be more than our pleasure to try and answer those. And just echo Brad there, we are so super excited to see you guys come and join us for the first year. For those that missed some of this, that did miss, it's going to be a face-to-face labs. So for first years, you'll be for sure one lab a week, right? And you'll both have the luxuries of seeing both instructors for those labs, as some of them have even dedicated to stay behind to answer questions or come in early to answer some questions that you do have in regards to your classes, because they're teaching you your online class or your virtual classroom. So for the theory part, as I said, it's going to be virtual classes, or it could be a recorded and then have a actual lecture question and answer base after you've watched the video at the particular lab time, or sorry, theory time. See, do we got any questions in here that we can answer, Terry?
I just want to reiterate those start dates. August 12th will be the start date for our first years. That's if you're first year HOOT or first year HOPE. And August 28th is our start date with virtual orientation for second year HOPE. I hope that is clear there. And that would be coming out from me as well. Again, feel free to ask me any questions.
So I see somebody here is asking what kind of jobs you'd have for after year one with HOOT. Well, after year one with HOOT, we hope that you would have a fourth class, and we hope that you could then work as a field operator, usually with a fourth class or some type of building maintenance person.
And then we also have power, which I'm not sure if Brad mentioned as well. We have we talk about practicums with the power industry as well. So SAS Power, Northland Power, etc. I think that was some of the areas that we were discussing before with where you could apply your education. Anyone else? I think this has gone really well. We just thank you so much for attending, and I will send out that recap email. Feel free to reach out individually like Rob and Brad had mentioned, and we really look forward to seeing you on campus in small class sizes. Go ahead.
So for class time, so most classroom times start at 8 a.m., go all the way to 3 o'clock with a 1 hour lunch break. Those are your theory days. And what your labs will either start at 7 in the morning and go till noon, or you'll be coming in for noon and go all the way till 4 o'clock.
For the residence question, for international students, I would ask you to direct your questions right to residents and even to perhaps the international department to help assist you. I believe that would be the hello@lakelandcollege.ca email that was sent up earlier. Is there anything else there? The virtual orientation you would be allowed to make your payments. I will let Student Services go over that information. They are having one July 8th. I think if you're asking about payment for your classes, there will be options for you to pay online, calling in, etc. But I'll leave that to Student Services. And yes, we'll have our virtual orientation where we all get together like this again, go over a meet your instructor kind of conversation, as well as myself and Brad and Rob again. And then that would be when you're asked to pay as well at that time, around that time. But again, I'll leave that to Student Services. And when do you get a class schedule? Your class schedule would be in your My Lakeland account. Now that's coming from Student Services. I don't have that control. But typically we've already gone over what it would look like, whether you were a Monday lab or a Wednesday lab, morning or afternoon. That information would come out to you later on this summer. You would just be advised to watch your email and even check your junk mail for a My Lakeland email, setting up your account, etc.
Is there any other questions for us today?
I'm not sure if you can all read that in the chat, but admissions and student services is letting us know the best way to pay your tuition is on your My Lakeland account or by phoning in to campus 871-5700, and all students will receive an email with My Lakeland access around the beginning of August. So just watch for that, enjoy your summer over July here, and just be prepared for August when you join us. I will send you that book list again, and you may need to discuss with the international department. We do hold some books in the bookstore. You are best to probably purchase online and potentially deliver here. Tuition prices, I'll leave that to Student Services. Will the classes be recorded or not? Each instructor will probably do that a little bit differently. Rob, do you want to discuss about will the classes be recorded or live?
Yeah, again, that will be up to our instructors, whether they're going to record it or be live. So it'll depend on the class and the classroom instructor. So for first years, you're lucky you have, you'll have 2 theory instructors, 1 oil instructor, and a communication instructor. Your lab instructors are going to be the same as your theory instructors, so that will help you out as well.
Just continue to watch your emails, and that's will be the ideal form of communication with all of us. The 2 books TBD, that is a really good question. I will let maybe Rob answer that about the TBD books. Is that okay?
Yeah, so right now we're looking at our heavy oil courses. Those are being typed out as we speak. If they're not in the bookstore by the time this starts for the first semester, we will figure out something to get it to you guys. So we'll look at that. But don't worry about that for now. Those are in-house books that we have instructors building right now, much like our lab manuals. So we'll have that for you by the time the course starts.
So with that, I think we're almost up to our 1 hour, and I don't want to take too much of everyone's time, but we really appreciate you joining in, and just want to say thank you again, and we look forward to having you on campus.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see everybody here day 1. For sure, I'll be stopping in everybody's labs just to introduce myself, and I really want to try and establish some sort of connection with you guys, as it's hard to be stuck in an office virtually. So that's my promise to you guys, is to meet each and every one of you as you come through our doors. So welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. And again, this recording will go out and a recap email. So any other questions that we may have missed, we'll go over. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of the day.